What is more important, skills or the tools that you use? Well, today we're going to focus on that question, so stay tuned. Hey friend, my name is Ion and welcome to my Start Animating YouTube channel. The channel that is specifically aimed at everyone that is new to animation. And if that is you, welcome, you are at the right place. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also click on that little notification bell so that you can get notified every week when I upload a brand new video. Now today I want to talk about skills versus tools when it comes to animation. And there's a reason why I want to focus on this, because what happened during the last week, if you don't know, I have my own streaming platform for kids and I create my own animations, and I'm based in South Africa. And so what happened during the last week, 2 of my shows were nominated for an awards show in the United States, in Tennessee, in the kids division. So out of the 5 nominations, 2 of them is my shows, my animation shows. So for me, as a South African, to have my work being nominated at a large award ceremony in the United States, I mean, that is obviously a big deal for me. And so the software that I use for my animations is Cartoon Animator, and there's a lot of reasons why I use it. I'm not going to go into that today, but if you also go to the comments on a lot of my other YouTube videos on this channel where I talk about Cartoon Animator, why I use it, and a lot of the comments is that Cartoon Animator isn't industry standard. It is not a good software. You should rather go with Moho or Toon Boom because those are the industry standard, and Cartoon Animator isn't worth using. And so with all this said, it just really made me think, how important is the tools that we use, the software that we use? Because how is it that I can create shows, animations that gets recognition in other award ceremonies alongside animations using the other tools? Is the software really that important, or what? As a new animator, should you rather spend money on the most expensive industry standard software, or should you rather focus on other things? Now, let me ask you guys this question. Okay, if I were to jump into a Formula 1 racing car, okay, will that make me a better driver? Obviously not. In fact, if I'm going to jump into a Formula 1 car and I'm going to try and race, it's going to be a disaster. I'm probably going to be in an accident, and it's not going to be a good thing. So I'm a much better driver in my own car, on the roads that I normally drive. I am not a race driver. So that, if you can compare that analogy to animation as well. Okay, if you are a beginner, if you're new to animation, and if you're going to start with the industry standard, you're going to be lost. You're not going to create good animations, because yes, you're working maybe on better software, but it is so complex that you're not going to use the software to its full ability. Okay, so it's much better if you just start with a software that's a lot easier to work, a better, easier user interface, and work yourself upwards. And so for me, that is actually very important. You can always upgrade later on, but that still doesn't answer my question. Tools versus skills. Okay, so and that's my point. The skills for me is a lot more important than the tools that we use. And again, it just made me think when 2 of my shows, 2 out of the 5 shows nominated that I created was on Cartoon Animator, which is considered online as not industry standard, yet it was nominated with other shows using the industry standard software. So why is my work on the same level as other people using the industry standard software? And it must be the skills, not the software. How do you use the tools that you have? Can you create great animations with Cartoon Animator? Yes, you can. Are you a bit limited with a lot of the things? Yes, obviously. But a good animator will always know how to use his tools to tell the right story and to create a good animation. He will find ways to work around the limitations. And that's something that I've done. I know the limitations of Cartoon Animator, and I work around them so that you don't really even see the limitations in my work. You won't know that I had to find solutions to certain things. And that's, for me, is more important to rather focus on your skills and skill development than getting the best software out there. For me, as a beginner, you should always just take it step by step and start with a software that is with a good user interface that's easy to learn. Start there and work yourself upwards. So I thought it is, for me, is very important to, like I say, to focus on your skills and not on the tools that you use. But I also thought about what is my method. Okay, I'm not using an industry standard software based on the people online. I still think Cartoon Animator is a great animation software, but a lot of people believe it's not a good animation. So I also sat down and I thought, what am I doing inside Cartoon Animator or in my animations to make it good quality so that it can still, doesn't matter what software I'm using, that I can still reach a good quality, a good animation that is worth being nominated for awards. Okay, so I want to share with you 3 things that I always make sure these things are incorporated into my animation. And so it doesn't matter what animation software you are using, what tools you are using. If you incorporate these 3 things, I truly believe you're going to make better animations. Okay, so let's go into it. The first one is obvious, and it doesn't even have anything to do with animation. That's why the software doesn't even matter. And that is storytelling. Okay, if you have good stories, people will love it. Doesn't matter what software you are using. So I want to give you guys 2 examples of what I'm talking about, why storytelling is so important. If you go back to Hanna-Barbera, when they were at their peak, they were criticized for cutting corners. Okay, so if you go do yourself a favor, go watch the history of Hanna-Barbera, check out some videos. What they did is they wanted to mass produce animations for Saturday Morning Live. They ruled Saturday Morning Live. So what they did is they use certain elements over and over and over so that they don't have to animate it again. So they cut a lot of corners. And the result is the animation, you can't even compare the animation quality to what Disney did at the time. Okay, but why was Hanna-Barbera so successful? They had a lot of great stories. Okay, the Flintstones, Scooby-Doo, the Jetsons, you can go on. They had great stories that captivated the minds of kids, and kids love it, and they didn't even care about the quality of the animation or the fact that they cut so many corners to save cost and to speed the process up. Kids didn't even care about it because the stories were so amazing. But if I can flip that around, okay, I'm not going to name names in this one, but in my Start Animating community, what I did is I shared a YouTube video. It was a company that review movies, and they did a film review on new animation release that just came out, and this animation, again, I'm not going to name names, but it was produced by a top animation studio with a big budget, with the best animators in the industry. And you know what happened? It was a huge flop. Why? Because the story wasn't good. Okay. They just said it's such a bad movie. They won't recommend it. The story was terrible. And it was almost like they just broke all the rules when it comes to storytelling. And the story is bad. So even if they have the best animators, the biggest budget, people don't want to watch it because the story was bad. So the first thing is focus on a good story. Okay, that doesn't even have anything to do with animation, but with a good story, you can already, people will be interested in your animation because it has a captivating story. The second thing is visual appeal. Okay, make your animation look good. Now there's different ways you can do it. You can do it artistically, have a unique artistic style. I mean, if you compare The Simpsons with Aladdin from Disney, okay, artistically, The Simpsons isn't nearly as well done visually as a Disney full feature film, but it works. Okay, it is not as great and visually appealing, but it works. It feels like it's a world that you can live in. Okay, you can. The Simpsons has created an entire world. It has an artistic style that is very well known. So make sure visually, artistically, you have a beautiful animation. Okay. Then, like I've also mentioned, world building. So when I talk about world building, this is something I talk a lot about with my students, is the characters should look like they all belong in the same world. Okay, make sure, and this also comes in with artistic style, there should be a common artistic style between characters and the world. The characters should look like they belong in the world that you've created for them. So they don't feel like there's different artistic styles and it clashes. Okay, so there should be like a world building. And then finally, cinematography. Try and tell beautiful stories with the camera. Okay, camera placements, angles, etc. That also helps elevate the mood of your animation as well. And again, we haven't even touched the software yet, the animation software or your skills. These are two things you can implement right now and you can improve the quality of your animation straight away. It doesn't even matter what software you are using. And then finally, practice the 12 principles of animation. Make sure you can do all of them. Make sure that you can do squash and stretch, and when to squash and when to stretch. Don't just do it because you believe you should do it. Do it when it should. Because what squash and stretch, for example, does, it creates weight and mass to objects, and it creates believability as well. So the 12 principles of animation, timing is very, very important. Work on your timing. So these are skills. And again, 12 principles of animation it doesn't matter what animation software you are using. These are skills. And that's why I'm saying that if you incorporate good storytelling, visual appeal, your animation looks beautiful on screen, and 3, you incorporate the 12 principles of animation, you will have good animations. And it doesn't matter what software you are using. It doesn't matter if you are using industry standard software. Yes, the software that you are using, it's a tool, and some tools will have more functions to do more things. For example, Cartoon Animator, you don't have the ability to turn your character 360. So there's a limitation. But can I work around it? Yes, I can, without the audience noticing it. So yes, you can do a lot more with better software, but it doesn't mean your animation will be better for it, if that makes sense. If you focus on these three things, you will have a good animation that will captivate the minds of audiences. So for me, these three things is the focus. So skills for me is a lot more important than the software that you use. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you think this software plays a bigger role or a massive role in the quality of your animation, or does it depend on your skills and maybe these three things that I've mentioned? I'd love to hear from you. I know a lot of people will not agree with me when it comes to Cartoon Animator. I know a lot of people have made their voices loud on some of my videos when it comes to Cartoon Animator, and they just don't believe it's a good software. I truly love it, and I think the fact that I can create work that is on par with other people, it shows that the software isn't the most important thing. It is storytelling, it's the visual appeal, it is your skills, incorporating the 12 principles of animation. Now, if you also want to know more about tools, because tools is important at the end of the day. If you don't have animation software, then you can't really create any animation. So if you want to know what is the right tool for you, I do have the Animation Startup Guide. It's a list of all the different 2D and 3D animation softwares, as well as different drawing tablet brands, and with links so you can click on it and see the prices, the specs. You can download maybe trial versions just to see what software will work best for you. And again, don't go for what the industry standard is. Go for a software that works best for your needs, and then rather focus on your skills. So if you want that startup guide, in the description box below, there's a link. Just click there and I will send that guide to you. So guys, that is it for me. I will see you guys next week with another video. So God bless and happy animating.